Hi, chilliefalls here. Welcome to the first episode of Chilliechats. My guest today is Emma Teace. Emma is a well-known cruise vlogger and cruise blogger. She's quite an influencer in the cruise industry. She's best known perhaps for her group that she started, Facebook group called Cruising Isn't Just for Old People, of which I am a member and an old person, but it's a fun group to be in. Emma is also all over social media. She has, of course, a major YouTube channel. She's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find her almost anywhere. As a matter of fact, in the description of this video, you can check and find links to all of Emma's social media stuff. But anyway, those of us that are involved with Emma, especially through her group, she's vivacious. I think she's cute as a button. That's politically incorrect, but who cares? She's very energetic. She's fun to be around, and all of us that are in her group just love her to death. So I'm tickled pink that Emma is my first guest on Chilliechats. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Emma Teace.
And if we did this right, we're on air. So I introduce you to Emma. Hi, Emma.
Hello, everybody.
This is Emma Teace. Emma, we're talking today about the MSC Meraviglia, and she was debuted in 2017, and you've already sailed on her twice. Wow. So I guess you like the ship.
Yeah, so I cruised on her before over Christmas with some of my family. And then I wanted to bring some newbie cruisers, some friends of mine on a cruise, and I saw a great deal on this cruise, and I already knew that I liked it, which was one thing I wanted to be sure before I took people on their first cruise that I knew what they were getting into. And they had a great time. They really loved it. So I think I did good, and I think I've converted them to cruising, which is what I wanted to do. So
awesome. Well, I know it's hard for you to understand that I'm a big fat guy. So when you're on a cruise ship, food is very important to me.
Yeah.
What did you think about the food on the Meraviglia?
The food on the Meraviglia was really good. I think within MSC, the food seems to vary a lot. There's a lot of bad reviews about the food on MSC, and I can't really comment on any of the other ships that I haven't been on. But even since the first cruise I took on Meraviglia, it seems like the food has got better. It seems like they're listening to the feedback, I guess, that they got from some cruisers. Some people said that it was small portions and it was cold and things, and it definitely wasn't on Meraviglia. It was really good food. There were 6 of us, and I don't think at any point we had any complaint with anything. It definitely is a more Mediterranean type of menu, but it is an Italian cruise line, and I was cruising in the Mediterranean, so that's kind of to be expected. But it was all really good quality on board, so I was quite happy with it.
Because the Meraviglia is a little heavy on the specialty restaurant side, did you stick strictly with the free dining, or did you do some fee dining?
I only did one specialty restaurant because I did a status match from NCL, Norwegian. So I had loyalty status with Norwegian, and MSC will match it if you're on another line. So I matched it, and I got one free meal in the specialty restaurant. So I kind of stuck to the free meals, but also got to try out Butcher's Cut, which is a really good steak restaurant. But apart from that, I don't think you really need to. We were on board for a week, and there was enough variety in the normal menu. I don't normally do specialty restaurants if I can avoid it, because I've already paid for all of this food, and in my mind, I might as well eat the food I've already paid for.
I completely agree. My problem with the next cruise I go on is I've become a real nut for sushi, and sushi's always one of the paid options, and that's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah, they have a good sushi place, teppanyaki place on Meraviglia, but I didn't.
Okay, now here's we get to some serious stuff here. On the Meraviglia, the water slide is known as the Polar Aqua Park. Now that has a special meaning to you. Can you tell us about that?
It does. Well, the first time I went on this ship, it was Christmas, and it was cold and I didn't want to do the water slides. And then I regretted it for about a year. So when I went this time, I had 2 friends with me who were also up for trying the water slides. So we went in January on all of the water slides, and then we rushed to the hot tub jacuzzi afterwards. And it kind of burnt because we were so cold and then so hot. But it was fantastic. There were no queues, there were no waiting around, straight up, straight down on all of these water slides. I'm sure it's a different experience when it's warm, but it's still a good experience even when it's cold. It certainly woke me up freezing.
I'll let you do the cold water slides. It's not for me.
I can do it with the GoPro, and you can actually see me. Like when I'm trying to breathe, I'm like shaking. It was so cold, but it was good fun.
How was the entertainment?
So the entertainment is very different from American and British cruise lines. Just because of all the languages spoken on board, they can't really do like a Broadway show with a start, a middle, and an end. So it tends to be more kind of interpretive. So it will be singing and dancing, all done in English. I think every show was done in English, which is good, because if I had to watch everything in Italian, I don't know if I'd bother going to the shows. They were actually okay, because I don't have too high expectations when I know they can't speak English.
Right. Was there a problem with language barriers on the ship, or if speaking English you're okay?
Yeah, so I think most of the staff like speaking English. They probably learned English before they learned Italian, because most of them are from India or the Philippines or somewhere. So for them, they all speak English. Everyone speaks great English, but they also tend to speak Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, German, French, who knows what else. It does make a very different cruise experience, because when you go to the theatre and you have the usual like, welcome, here's the show, that's done in 8 different languages before the show, and it does sort of drag things out, and all the announcements are done 8 times. It doesn't bother me, but I know what I'm getting into when I take an MSC cruise, and I'm quite happy with that. I know a lot of people hate it, but it makes me feel more like I'm abroad by not being surrounded by people who are just English.
Yeah. All right, the Meraviglia is coming to our side of the pond this fall.
Yeah.
It'll be the 4th MSC ship over here. The Divina, the Seaside, and the Ammonia are here already.
Mm-hmm.
So for our United States North American cruisers, do you recommend the Meraviglia?
I do. I really like it, but I think it's for people who know what they're getting into before they cruise. You can't look at this cruise, which is maybe half the price or cheaper than a Royal Caribbean cruise, and expect it to be the same as that. It's a completely different experience. It's a lot of fun, but I think all of the complaints come from people who've booked it without knowing what it is. So you've got to expect the food to be Mediterranean. You've got to expect everything to be done in, well, I don't know, cruising out of America, do they do things in all the different languages still? I'm not sure.
I've not been on one that was, I haven't been on anything other than this normal English speaking stuff. So this MSC will be a new experience for me.
I think they tried to make it more American, didn't they? And I think that's where a lot of the complaints came, is that they advertised it as something that it wasn't. I think if you accept that it's just a different experience and you're quite happy to go with the flow and just eat and drink and just be merry, then it's a good time. I would recommend it, but people should do a bit of research before just seeing this bargain cruise. They're so cheap sometimes, these cruises. The cruise I took was just cheaper than me staying in any of the places that I went to, not including the food and the entertainment. So I kind of saw everything as a bonus. We had one night in Barcelona before we did a Mediterranean loop, and that night cost us more than each night on the cruise. So the food and the entertainment and everything else that's going on board was just a perk, I guess, let alone transport and hotels. So.
Well, Emma, thank you very much for being my first guest on Chilliechats.
That's okay. I love the name, Chilliechats.
This is a feature I hope to continue with, and we'll get the video edited and have this thing up and posted here shortly.
I'll come back in a year or something, and you'll be Who knows how famous? So we'll see.
All right. Thank you, Emma. Appreciate it.
Bye.
I even had one of Emma's cruise shirts on for the occasion.
That about wraps up our first episode of Chillie Chats with my guest, Emma Teace. I post videos on cruise ships, on ports of call, on cruises themselves, and we do a weekly feature on cruise industry news, plus, of course, this new feature for Chillie's Chats. So if you like to keep up with any of those, hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the little bell notification system, and you'll be notified as soon as one of those items is posted. And hopefully, we'll see you on a cruise real soon.